Okay, we got AB.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Hello, Julius Campbell. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, AB, Mr. Hall. And hello, Kia. This
Hi.
is Reed. Tonight we're coming live. All things with Mr. Hall. It's all things relative media.
Relevant.
Relevance.
I don't know why you done been here for 6 months and can't say relevant.
Relevant media. We're here tonight. We're going to have an awesome show. We're here with Suzanne and Kia, and we're going to be talking about their book, When Felons Cry. But I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Hall, who is allowing us to use this platform, and to AB, who is the mastermind of putting incarceration to incorporate together, and to my wonderful co-host, Mr. Miko. So I just want y'all to know we're going live tonight. This is a chew and chat for women, but the men are here too, if we need a little input. Okay, so what I would want you all to do, Miko is going to say what he's saying, and then I'll take it over. Go ahead, Miko.
Good evening, good evening, good evening to everybody that's listening right now. Incarceration to incorporation. Why are we here? We're here because we want to change the narrative. So often, people have been saying that when someone returns home from prison, i.e., returning citizen, that they are bound or destined to go back. But we are changing that narrative, and we've been given this platform from Julius and AB to let the world know that there are so many men and women who are doing exceptionally well, whether it's from relationships to organizations to occupation, whatever they put their hands to, they are doing well. As I always love to say. We may have started out wrong, but look at us now. We are finishing this thing strong. And that's why we have these ladies on tonight when felons cry, because they too are now finishing strong by getting their word out, letting us know that we can make it. I've always heard it said that when you tell your story is impacting and influencing someone else's story. And that's why we are here tonight, to hear their story. So I want you to share. Touch that share button right now. Stop what you're doing. Hit that share button. Pick up that phone, even if you have to text or call someone, and let them know that a story is going to be spoken tonight and you need to hear the story. I know that it is going to minister and encourage and help you, because that's what we do on Ink to Ink. We tell you our stories so that we can encourage, so that we can empower, and so that we can edify those that are listening. So without further ado, I turn it back over to Marie.
Hello, Kia. Okay, Kia and Suzanne, what I would like for you all to do is to introduce yourself. Tell us your connection to incarceration, and then I'm going to start with Kia first.
Okay. Hey, everyone. First, I want to thank y'all for having me on this platform. Thank y'all for helping the community build it up. I'm Kia Jest. I'm from Savannah, and my connection with incarceration was I couldn't stay out of jail. I couldn't get it together, and for 20 years, and so the last 8 years, I've been on this new life journey.
Okay, Suzanne.
Hi, it's an honor to be here. I'm grateful. Thank y'all for having me. My name's Suzanne Bunton. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I live in a town 30 minutes away called Rankin. I had a life about 10 years worth of addiction, and I married a man, and he's we both went to jail at the same time. So I served 18 months in a federal correction facility. So here I stand today.
Okay, so Kia, I'm going to go to your book, When Felons Cry. Okay, and it was one. Now listen, this tonight is like Miko said. Tonight is going to be a journey that these two women are going to take you on to inspire someone, because someone needs to hear this story. Someone out there needs to be encouraged, okay? And that's what OAA do. We encourage and educate people. So what I want you to do, Kia, is take me on your journey of how you get to to be in jail for 20 years. You said 20 years you've been going back and forth to jail. So why and how did it get started?
Basically, it got started. I was hanging with the wrong crowd at first. I wanted to fit in. So low self-esteem in the beginning was my issue. With that low self-esteem, I began using drugs. Using hard drugs in the streets. And with that, I had a mindset of I wanted to get high, and I didn't care if I got arrested. I didn't care what came with it. And that was basically it. I was that mindset. I didn't want to stop. And then at one point, I wanted to stop, but couldn't stop because of the drug addiction.
Right. All right. So you know what? It's one part in the book here. It says, you said this, it struck me. That's why I said you and Suzanne's story encouraged me, because I have a daughter that is on drugs right now.
Okay.
And you said that no human was strong to break the bondage that held me bound in addiction. And then you say none.
None. And I say that because I've had POs that tried to help me. I had my mom that tried to help me. My brother the pastor tried to help me. Everybody tried to help me. And I remember one night I was beat up from the streets. And I remember coming in at home, and my mom opened the door. She went and sat at the table. I said, "Mom, I'm tired. I can't do this no more." And she told me right then and there, "You can't do it by yourself." And I didn't want that type of message. I was like, well, I was expecting her to come and hug me and tell me, "Baby, it's going to be all right." I can't do it by myself. So I had to do some more research and development to find out that I had to find a power that can break those chains, because man couldn't do it.
Right. I love that part. I made sure, because I had wanted you to speak on that.
Yeah.
And so, Suzanne, What was your journey that got you into incarceration? Take us there.
I can relate to Kia with the low self-esteem, and also feeling, I guess, feeling like a failure also creates the low self-esteem, where you set these goals as a kid and you've got this idea, you're going to do this and that. And when you don't make it, you end up taking acceptance for whatever accepts you. And that usually involves the wrong people. And then the wrong people bring you something that just makes you forget all about it. So what started off as underage drinking, to pot smoking, to cocaine use, to crack addiction, to pills, it's a web that once it starts weaving itself, it gets bigger and bigger and worse and traps you more. So I had been caught before with paraphernalia and stuff like that, and served a few days in a county jail. But what sent me away was basically marrying a man that was doing wrong, and I was pretty much controlled and manipulated by him, partially because of the drug use, but also because he had that just that manipulation hold over me, where he builds you up to break you down, kind of thing. So I was his puppet. I did whatever he wanted me to do.
Right. So Miko, what do you have to say to the ladies?
Well, I want to ask this question because so often substance abuse, as we've learned, is one of the catalysts that causes us to go in a downward spiral, whether it's incarcerated or whether it's in a relationship or what have you. But tell us a little bit about how you were able to, number one, get some assistance, because I believe that a lot of people are not true and honest with themselves to know that they are in danger. So did you get help while you were incarcerated? Were you progressively preparing to re-enter society, or did you wait till you get out? Either one of you.
Well, as for me, while I was incarcerated, there was like the 28-day program. There was programs that was set aside to help me while incarcerated. And yeah, while I was incarcerated, I had that clear head, like, yeah, I'm gung ho, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna do this. But once I got back out, I didn't grasp the concept of, if you go back in the same neighborhood, you're gonna use. If you continue to hang with the same people, you're gonna use. I didn't grab that. I wanted to go back and show everybody, look, I'm clean. I got this year, I got this 2 years, and every time I went back out, I hung around the same people, and I eventually started using. And for me, I got tired. I finally got tired. I jumped in the same car, the same guy twice. I got attacked twice. I mean, out in the streets, there was guns put to my head. There was knives put to my head. It was times to where I wanted to use so bad. I went to go steal out stores. I went to go sell my body. And eventually I just got burnt out. And I think that last beating, when I jumped in the car and the guy rolled off and laughed, like, I got you again. And for some reason, that did something to me. It woke me up. I mean, it wasn't the guns, it wasn't the knives. It was just that beating and him laughing, like, I got you. So, during the time, I knew there was a God, and I kept a little itty bit of faith, like, okay, I know it's somebody watching over me that's keeping me from getting killed out in these streets. So I would pray. I would talk about God in the crack houses, and people would kick me out. But it was just that little spark that I was holding on, like, okay, this got to change. And it eventually changed. I met somebody out in the streets, and this woman, she asked, can she pray for me? I was like, yeah. And I was stinking, I was smelling, hands black from the crack use from the pipe. And I was like, wow, this lady really taking time out to hold my hand and to pray for me. And so as soon as she prayed for me, the doors was closing. I mean, it was like, it was a whirlwind, and then God began to activate. It was like, okay, sister, I'm going to take you where you need to be at. And so, and I thank God for that. I thank God for people who come and actually want to genuinely help you, because we need that out in the streets. And so that was what really activated my faith. Once her prayer, and once I got that extra little strength. You know, it was a spark. I got that prayer, it was a bigger spark. And finally I got that strength to say, look, I'm going home. And once I got home, what really helped was PO. I ran for the PO for so long. And I said, well, I'm going to go turn myself in. I know they're going to lock me up. So I went to the PO. The PO said, no, what you going to do different? He didn't lock me up. So it was like, okay, Kia, you can't go back. You got to find something to help you. So I began going to church, activating my faith more, going to church, and I found a 12-step program. And I began to cling on to the people in this 12-step program. And I threw my phone away. I didn't want to call the tricks. I didn't want to call the dope man. So I threw the phone away and I began my journey. And I understood then that I could not go back and hang with the old crowd.
Wow, I love that. And now I want to hear Suzanne to share yours. But before you share it, let me just condense some of the things that I've heard there. Number one, you didn't just say you were going to change. You actually did some difficult things to change. You actually inconvenienced yourself. In the technological world we live in today, people can't live without their phone. But you made a conscious effort to throw yours away so that you would not go back. You did whatever it took to be able to be where you are right now. So it was faith, but it was also some factual aspect where you said, I want to get some 12 step. I want to get some education. So I love that. What about you, Suzanne?
Mine's pretty similar. I was married to that man, the same man who we both were addicts at the time, but he also was, first time he introduced Jesus to me in a way. I'd always been a believer, but it's a whole different ballgame to walk with Jesus. And he started talking to me in a way that I hadn't understood about the battle between the flesh and the spirit. And we were both high on cocaine at the time he started to talk about it. This is before we were married. And he said, let me shut up before I get thrown out of here. And I said, no, please keep going. So 2 weeks later, I married him. And then we would do crack. We would smoke crack together. And I would really, we would be in and out of church at the same time. But then when I'd see him high and saw what it did to him, it was a really big wake up call. He would open up a brand new pack of cigarettes that had never been opened and tear everyone apart thinking that there was crack in there. And the mistrust he had for me, I feared for my life. One night he had beat me like a man, and that was the only time he did it, but he freaked out and he beat me like a man. And that was about that was pretty much my wake up call. We were shot at. And then I could tell, like, by the bullets on the car, there was something standing in front of me. And I knew it was the grace of God that said, you weren't made for this. I've got plans for you. And even at that, the wheels start turning, and then the hope starts pouring in more heavily as I start seeing that there is hope to live without this drug. So I allowed God to deliver me from the crack addiction. And I ended up getting pregnant a few months after that. And although pregnancy cured me God delivered me from the addiction, but I didn't want to go back because I had this beautiful baby who I thought I couldn't have kids. So just the fact that I got pregnant showed me there's something being birthed inside of you that is far more precious than anything you could ever try to put into your body yourself.
Wow.
And seeing that baby and hearing her cry after that, it was like angels singing. So God showed up and showed out with that, just using the little things, the things that many might not even notice if they're not paying attention, but God had tuned in my ear and my eyes to see him at work. And it takes a lot of removal of distractions and a lot of getting the negativity away from your ears. I call them gnats. You know, if y'all from the South, y'all know a gnat in your ear. Yeah. Pretty. So changing the music I listened to, what I watched on TV, that also helped because I wasn't comparing myself to this person or that person, and really just focusing on how special I am to God. And that really was the process that God used. Going to prison was the process that God used in my life. I was already clean going to prison, but I began to see prison as kind of like a jewelry box where God puts his special jewels inside and he shines them up and then releases them for the world to see.
Yes.
Wow, Marie, you got to take it back over. But I love something she said that was awesome. She said when she got pregnant, that she realized that God said that I can birth something into you that's more special and more precious than what you can put into you. Now, for women that may not be able to have children, I think that God is also saying something to them as well. There is something birthed in you, an idea, a talent, an organization, a nonprofit. There is something that's inside of you that's already there. You don't have to add to it with substance abuse. And I believe that's where the book came from. So Marie, I want you to take over, but ladies, you got time. Slow down. Tell us a little bit about where the title came from.
You want Marie to take over?
Huh?
I can't tell you want Marie to take over. You still
talking. See, that won't be him, brother.
You down in the corner. You ain't even
listen, Mr. Hall, listen. Suzanne, I just want to say this one thing to you. When I was reading your story, I was so in tune with your story, you and Kia's story. I love when you said this. You was craving a chocolate chip cookie. You was in prison. You remember that? And you say you was craving, and then you say you went to the child hall and they had cookies for a whole month. And the reason why that stuck to me, because God take the little things.
He does.
That God, I just love him. God will take the little things for you. You understand? And I just love the way I'm gonna let you tell it about the numbers. I just love you and Kia's story. God is going to help so many women. It is, guess what? It's people that are scared to tell their story.
Right.
But because you all are telling your story, that will make them come forth and say something. You know, God has spared Kia life. Man, can I just tell this one part?
Go ahead.
Kia, man, I told Kia today, I was talking to her, I said, she reminded me of Job, Miko. I say, because Kia was almost killed several times. What did God tell? I know this is not a spiritual thing, but what did God tell Job, Miko? He said, Satan, he said, listen, you can touch him, but you can't kill him. And they couldn't kill you. You been beat twice. I mean, y'all stories blew my mind. You know, and people need to really hear that. So what do you have to what question do you have for the ladies?
Woo, y'all making me cry up in here now.
Let me tell you something. You and Suzanne is a survivor.
Yes.
You are a survivor. Guess what? Joseph. What Joseph did, Miko, he went from the pit to the palace. Guess what? Things are designed, it seemed bad. It may have seemed bad. But God had things set up for this time right here. I ain't gonna start.
See, Julius? I'm trying to stay on the side. Ladies,
y'all ain't get AB time to say nothing yet.
Okay, so here's your opportunity. But remember this, the book, ladies, we want you to tell us where the name came from. Some of the most important messages in the book. This is your hour. Tell us a little bit about what you wrote.
AB, you had something?
No, I didn't really, because I don't know the storyline of these beautiful souls. I'm just now hearing it. I'm hearing about the book. I'm just hearing the testimony. I'm gonna let them, like Miko said, let them run with it. Like Marie say, they got a story to tell. I'm just here for the listening part right now.
Yeah, I didn't want you to sit over in the corner and had a question, and you know, Marie and Julius can talk.
So can you, Mr. Hall?
I'm glad, hey Julius, I'm glad they can talk, because them talking is what got Incarceration to Incorporation still on air.
That's right. That's right. They've been filling in for us for about
listen.
A lovely while, sir.
For me, I know since August, you know what I mean, that's a whole nother story. So I just appreciate you all continue to hold down the fort, continue to do this each and every week. I'm just proud of y'all. Just, you know what I mean, keep doing what you're doing. From here on out, if it's God's will, 6 to 7 o'clock, I'm gonna continue to be on board. So But for the past shows, I like to thank y'all. I don't think I so far giving y'all the roses, as they saying now, giving y'all roses for holding it down, holding this show down. For you all ladies, Tia and Suzanne, for you all to be on this show today, you have to have a story to tell. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a testimony. So I'm gonna let you tell your testimony. I'm gonna let you give your story. And right now, I'm just a listener. And then we're gonna let the people know who you are and what you got going on. So again, I thank y'all for coming on and Miko, Marie, and Jay Hall. I appreciate y'all with the bottom of my heart, for real.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Marie.
Okay, so Kia,
Mm-hmm.
go into how did y'all come up when Felons Cry? Where did the title come from? And just go into the book a little bit. We'll start with you can say your part, and then Suzanne say her part. So you can go ahead, Kia.
Okay, so first of all, the book title, the idea came from Melanie Mason. She I don't know how she got the title, what inspired her, I do not know, but she did reach out to a few people and asked did they want to share their story. So that's how I got involved as co-author to the book. And oh goodness, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
I was saying, how did the title come about?
Oh, yeah.
And you were telling us how the title came about, and I just want I want people to know where they can get the book from. Also, Kia.
Okay, you can get the book from Amazon, Amazon.com. Look up When Felons Cry.
Mm-hmm.
All of us will have our actual books in hand in maybe about a week. We're waiting on it to get here, so you can reach out to individuals that's in the book and get a copy that way also.
How much is the book, and how many authors were there?
It's Melanie, Suzanne. It's 4, 3, including Melanie. It's Melanie. So it's 3 plus
it's 4.
Melanie. So 4 altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is the book?
Online. Do you know how much is it online?
Yes, online. If you go on Amazon.com, and if you have Amazon Prime, it's $8.99. Okay. But if you want to pay, if you want the book at hand, it's $19.99, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, see all these books back here. I buy all the books, so I'll get y'all book next. Everybody book that come on this show, I buy. So we
do it. Suzanne.
Yes.
I love this part of the story. Let me tell you what part I love. I said when reading your story, you knew the number of times that they counted you.
Yes.
And so I called that, you know what I called that? I call that sheep for the slaughter.
Okay.
You knew the number of times that they count, and they count a lot in prison.
They do. They do
count a lot in prison.
Yeah.
And so I just tell y'all story of the book. I can tell you everything that the book said on both because I read
it. Thank you for reading it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
How did y'all two meet?
Me and Suzanne?
How did all 4 of y'all meet, the authors?
Facebook.
I do actually. It's so funny because this is so God, but I just so happened to wonder because back in 2008, I had a real estate license, and then the housing market fell. So it was like this, and plus I was addicted to crack cocaine, but I was trying to fake it, But so I let that license go, and since I come out, I was wondering if I could get relicensed because I have a small business I work very hard at, and I was ready to do some different kind of work. And I reached out to one of my friends, and we hadn't spoken like 20 years. So I filled her in, and I told her about how prison was, it's crazy to say it, but it was the best experience of my life. So she held on to my story for a few days, and she got back with me. She's like, I've got this friend, Melanie, I work with her, and she's doing this thing with something that exactly what you just said. So I want you to meet her. So she introduced us together, and then we started talking, and then Melanie asked me to be a part of it. So it really wasn't something that I saw on Facebook, but because I reached out to a friend and it got linked to another, to Melanie, that's how it worked out. So.
Yeah. And for me, I believe I shared my story on Facebook. I'll never forget that morning. Something dropped in my spirit. Tell Facebook about your story and show an old picture. I was like, I ain't about to do that. I ain't about to do that. And so I was obedient. And so I threw that. That's when I was that me and Melanie Mason connected in with my story.
You see what obedience get you? You see what obedience get you? Oh,
Woo.
okay. Yes, Miko.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Miko.
Okay. Well, first of all, Bernard Brown is listening. He says, hello, my beautiful people. Melanie is also, she's paying attention. She's listening. She's rooting you girls on as well. And another one of my partners is watching also. But I want to ask a question. Suzanne, and also for Kia. What was the most powerful thing that you said in that book? I know it was, whether it was a story, whether it was a quote, whether it was a memory. I want you to tell us what was the most powerful part of that book that stood out to you, and why was that powerful? You go first, Suzanne.
Oh, I was going to pass it to Kia. I'm one of those writers that write it down and they don't look at it again. But and probably at this point, Marie could probably answer. But I think, I know I probably said that prison was my best experience in life. I mean, aside from getting blessed with children, but it's the most crazy and awkward thing to say. And it's only because of God just really speaking to me with the chocolate chip cookies. I mean, and then like the women who had been there for 20 years, they said that they had never had those cookies before. And especially they ain't never had something for a whole month. So stuff like that, little stuff. And then God also used a dove to let me know that he was there. I saw Hebrew letters in the clouds, and I only knew that from Psalm 119, having the little Hebrew thing. So I jotted it down and took it to one of my my Hebrew friends, and she translated it for me, and she told me it had meant shell. And I don't think this is in the book, but it's crucial. When I first got there, I had a dream about how I was walking the track and I found 2 shells, but there were 3 of them, and I could never, ever, ever find the other one. So I woke up from that dream, still in my cell, of course, or cube, and my friend had put some shells on my locker. So I was like, what? You know, to hear this and not to have a relationship with God, I'm sure people are like, this chick's nuts. But it literally happened. And so all along, I kept wondering about the shell. And even though the Hebrew letters spelt out shell, I still was like, I'm still not getting it, God. And so it was right about the week before I was supposed to be released. And I was in the cafeteria, chow hall, and a woman had come to me, and I was friends with her. She said, Bunton, I remember the moment you walked in, because she had already been sitting in there. I got to self-surrender. So that was almost partly the worst thing. And I had to literally drive myself to prison. And so she said, you was nothing but a shell. And I kind of ignored her for the first time. And then she said it again. I said, okay, wait a minute. What did you say? She said, you were a shell. You were like empty. And that's when I got it. It's like God took me there to empty everything in me that the world had put in, and to put in everything that he wanted in there.
Wow.
That's
powerful.
I love that.
It's powerful.
That's the stuff you can't make that up, man. I ain't that good.
Kia, what about you, Kia?
I believe the most powerful for me was the pimp story, because I had a pimp in Atlanta, and I was in denial about the situation. I felt like that was my man, you know what I'm saying? But he had other plans for me. And I was a part of a drug and sex trafficking ring. And I didn't know. I was in denial about that. You know, drugs had me messed up. And so recently, maybe about a year ago, I'm doing some training at this job. And they talked about sex trafficking, and they showing how you can have this romantic the romantic, the gorilla type person. And I was like, oh my God, I was in those sex and drug trafficking ring. And so it was, I didn't want to tell y'all that. I didn't, God was dealing with me. He was like, be transparent with your story. Tell him about the pimp. And I didn't want to let y'all know that I gave all my money to a man. I didn't want to let y'all know that this man was using me to go tell me to go do this, go pick up drugs, go do this and that. And I was actually being obedient to that man. I didn't want y'all to know that. And God was saying, listen, you have to tell your story. Tell that part. Don't leave it out. Right. And it brought it actually brought some internal healing. Yeah. Because like I said, I dealt with insecurities. I dealt with low self-esteem. And to be in a position like that, my self-esteem was shot. He was the type of, like I said, I met him. It was in Atlanta, and I had just jumped out of a car and got beat in another car. And he saw me walking like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. He was like, do you need a roof over your head? And like I said, I was the type, a stranger come up, let's go. You know, I didn't have no thought about it. And so this man gave me a roof over my head. I slept for days. And when I woke up, he gave me drugs. He was like, hey, I know what you're doing out there. Here you go. Go ahead and have some. So I got happy. I was like, wow, man gave me a roof and he gave me free drugs. It wasn't for free. He turned around and said, hey, you owe me. Right. I was like, wow. So he set the condoms out here, this many condoms. This is how much money you're going to make. And I'm like, wow. And he would do that every day. I would wake up, here's more drugs. I couldn't say no. Right. And then, one day he just came up. He opened the door and he just came up and he slapped me in the face. That was the first time I ever got hit from him. And he was like, because I hit you because you're gonna mess up one day. I was like, oh, so that was the breakdown. He started breaking me down. He made me cut my hair off. It was traumatizing. I used to have nightmares, and it was one part to where somebody owed him money. We was in a hotel room. And the guy came in and said, look, I don't have your money. He said, come on in. Put him in a corner. He had a 2x4, this wood. He's beating this man crying. He's blood gushing. I'm sitting on the bed screaming. He told me, you better not move. You're going to watch this. And then after he beat the man, let the man go, he opened the hotel door and was like, we're going to sit here till the police come. So it was like a lot of traumatizing events, and that type of situation, you just can't leave a pimp. Right. You can't just say, look, I'm about to head home, because they don't play that. And what this one didn't. And so when I tried to run away, he looked for me with a pistol and some bags of dope, and he would pass it around. He'd jump an exit, he'd jump in the exit. And I never forget, when I knew it was real serious is when I was in a room with a trick in Atlanta, and all of a sudden the phone rang. And the man said, hey, the phone for you. I said, how somebody know I'm here? Get on the phone. Hey, B, where you at? I know you there. I was like, oh, wow, this man found me again. So finally, with that, it was just so traumatizing. I just remember grabbing his gun one time. I don't know if that was in the book, but I remember grabbing his gun while he was sleeping, and I just wanted to shoot him. I wasn't violent. I just was tired. I wanted to go home. I wanted to break free. And with that situation, like I said, I talked about that little spark of faith. You know, I was able to run away and to stay away, and that was the most powerful part of the book, because that's going to help some women with self-esteem.
How many years ago was that?
Oh God, that was maybe about 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, AB, I thought pimping was day.
Oh, they got different type of pimping these days, but they don't.
You're right. They got different type of pimping.
Yeah. They ain't gonna send you out and say, hey, you go make my money like that. It's a different type of romantic type of I love you, baby. Go do this.
They learn your weaknesses and then they play on that. See, my husband was the same way. He was my pimp. I was just married to him, but he would sell me real fast to get him a fix.
She has a book all to her by herself. Your story does not need to be in the book.
Right. You got
You
me.
know,
Listen, I want from just listening to Kia make me want to go buy the book right now. So I already know it's going to be something that a lot of women want to
It is
tune in to,
good.
want to tap into because, like you said, it's about self-esteem issues. It's about the women go through it a lot because you all are emotional creatures, and that's something your story all in itself is like Julius just said. That's a book all in itself. And to
Hmm.
hear each one of y'all different stories, but share similar stories. You know what I mean? It's from a different perspective, but it's also from the same perspective. So
Hmm.
I want to buy it. I'm looking for the book right now. I
Get
want
the
the
you know
book.
book,
what's so
AB.
great?
Get the book. It's good, AB. I,
Marie,
I,
Hey,
I
listen,
shared it on
I'm gonna try to
Facebook.
catch Julius. Julius is the book is Julius Hall is the book buyer. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
get the books. I
I'm
got
Donnie
gonna
the
buy.
book.
Black.
I'm gonna get the book.
Donnie Black is on, and Donnie Black says, I'm so proud of you ladies.
Thank
Tisha
you.
Fulton is watching from Las Vegas, and she also is proud. Melanie said,
Thank
the
you.
fact that they trusted me enough to share their stories means so much to me. And just like these ladies are encouraging you and being encouraged
Thank
by
you.
your story, I want to know, are you thinking about sending the book to those that are in prison? Get some chaplains or other ministries to give the book to those ladies that are in prison. What are you going to say to other women that are listening to you right now? What would you say, Suzanne, to the lady that's married and caught up? How would you encourage her right now? And then when you finish, Kia, how would you encourage someone that don't think that they can get out and that don't think that they have enough on the inside? Speak to the ladies right now. You go, Suzanne.
I'm trying to answer the first question that you mentioned about what we planned on doing about the people who are in jail with the book. One thing I wanted to share quick is that the day I left, I knew I'd be coming back, but legally. I felt it. I felt it strongly. My passion is to go back and let them know, don't waste this time. That time is important. It's time for, it's like a hospital, so to speak, to get rid of all the many decades of the years that life has just thrown trash on you. It's time to remove the trash, to put on a good, a better chance of living better. And as far as the women who may be stuck in a marriage, who have been belittled and given just enough to keep them satisfied, and they feel like they can't get out, I would say that getting out is not as bad as it may seem. The money that men will hold money, and like, nobody's going to love you like I can, and even if you got kids, nobody's going to love them kids as much as I do, or and stuff like that. They all lie to you. I would definitely suggest finding a mentor, at least just one person that you can rely on to be your kind of person behind the scenes that will help you out to either find another place to go, to get shelter for those who have partners that may come after them. You definitely want to find somewhere way out of state. I did have to leave a different town to get away from my man, eventually, and he had to be met with a gun once he did find me to stay away. I had to take protective order against him so that he couldn't come back. But sometimes that doesn't stop them. But I can say that if I can do it, if Kia can do it, any one of the women can. And you just have to keep that spark of faith and know that at least you're trying to get out, and the desire will increase the fear. I mean, the desire will overcome the fear. Fear is not something that helps us. So just to stay strong, I think I would encourage women to stay strong and to still do it, because they know they don't want to be there, and there's nothing worse than feeling that way.
Awesome, awesome. One of the things that I can say is that when you're spiritual and you have that relationship with God, no matter what you do, He's going to bring you through. Um, some people, they they get grace and mercy confused, and I can
Mm,
go back and forth with the preachers and with
mm,
the pastor that's on here now, but grace is more powerful than mercy.
mm,
When God gives you mercy, it's just for that time. But when He has grace over your life, when He gives you grace over whatever you're going through, then you're going to go all the way through it.
Right.
You're going to experience a lot, but you don't know that you got that grace yet.
mm.
You're thinking it's just mercy, but it's grace to get you
Wow.
from one point to the next point.
I
You
agree.
know, so the
Absolutely.
grace of God will take you further than wherever you think the mercy of God will ever take you. But I just want to say,
I want to say this, Miss Barbara. I don't know if she's on the show listening tonight, but she talked to me yesterday, and she want to have a function for women that are battered and women that are being abused and on drugs. And she asked me, would I come? And I told her I would, and I would like to invite you and Kia, Suzanne, if you would. She say like round, she don't like the cold. So she said she want to do it when it's warm and she want to do it to the park. So I
Okay.
think that you all should come out, share your stories with the ladies. Y'all need to be
That would be
speakers.
wonderful.
Yes.
Y'all need to be speakers to women need to, and I love this platform. Again, thank you, Mr. Hall. I love this platform where people can really hear and listen and
Hmm.
take in because women need this. Women need this. I like, can I say this one part that Suzanne has said? Oh God, I love her. Suzanne said this. And the reason why I felt this, because I done felt this way. Suzanne said, I thought that someone wanted to have sex with me meant I was being loved. She said,
Wow.
she said at that moment, but love doesn't go away like the men did afterwards.
Wow. Yes. Absolutely.
So we as women, we need to encourage one another.
Amen.
Yeah. And that's,
Absolutely.
what? That's when the empowerment come about, when we encourage
Mhm.
one another.
Right.
and that's
I agree.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
powerful. What
I always
Suzanne
Yeah.
feel like
said.
I couldn't live with my mistakes if I didn't try to help someone else avoid the same ones.
Yeah,
Because I'm sure Kia, most of y'all can relate that sometimes our decisions in the past will keep us and haunt us, and they'll keep us up at night. And,
That's
Mhm.
and a lot
right.
of times it's tried like a flashback of something I had done in the past. We can excuse it to being addicted, but it still doesn't change our conscience about it.
Mhm.
Um, so it brings me joy to know that if I had to go through hell to help someone else, it was worth it.
yeah.
Absolutely. And can I say something, y'all, really quick? With me and having a relationship with a pimp, I had to learn how to love myself because all that traumatic events and thinking a man loved me this way and that way, I had to actually sit down. God sat me down and say, look, it's time to love yourself. You need to do some healing because I do want to get married. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go in that relationship with that baggage.
Mm-mm.
So I choose to be single now. I choose
Amen.
to start loving myself. I choose to heal through my traumas, and that's where I'm at. And that's what I want to give to the ladies. Like, you can have healing. You can find a real husband. You can have a lasting relationship with someone. So that's what I want to give to the ladies also. But it starts
Marie,
with love in yourself.
Yeah,
Marie,
and that's
Barbara
great.
is on.
Okay.
She's
She is
listening.
on.
She is listening. And also, Bernard said, Marie, he wanted you to read that statement again, what Suzanne stated about the sex statement. Could you read that one more time?
Okay,
And buy the book, Bernard.
yes, I'm telling you, get the book. She said this, and I made quotations to myself. She said, I thought someone wanted to have sex with me meant I was being loved at that moment. But
Hmm.
love doesn't go away like the men did afterwards. And may I speak on that? What being molested, right? Because the people who molested me, I thought they was the one who loved me. So
Yeah.
when I put and I had sex and gave myself to a man because he said I love you,
Mm-hmm.
then you know it's not love.
Yeah.
It's not love because the people who I thought that loved me touched me. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah,
Right.
Bernard asked another question.
yeah.
And before I ask his question, Melanie said that, and this was I love this. She said, yes, a pastor here in Savannah has pre-ordered 50 copies to go into Chatham County. Workbooks will follow in about 2 months. So your
Uh,
That's so
stories
good.
are going back and ministering to women on the inside. But Bernard asked this question: did prison motivate you to do better when y'all got out of there? Were you already been motivated? Just sometimes you make the wrong turn in life. So basically, he was saying, did prison motivate you to come out and do right, or were you already motivated but just made a mistake? You go first, Kia, and then you go, Suzanne.
well, I did serve time in Alto and in prison, but prison planted the seeds. Prison planted the seeds. That drug addiction was just that I didn't want to quit. So once I went back out and I started doing some more research and development in the streets, I realized I thought back to prison and I thought about all the times God sent this person to speak in my life, sent that person to speak in my life, how the guards was controlling my life. It, like I said, it planted seeds. So I reflected back and that helped motivate me to be where I'm at today because I don't want to go back.
That's right.
That's right. Though none of us want to go back.
Right.
For
Suzanne?
me, it was if you ain't rooted and grounded in a good solid foundation, I choose Jesus Christ. Someone might choose something different, but for me, and I firmly believe there ain't no other way than Jesus Christ. But if you ain't rooted and grounded in that, prison will drive you insane. I was in there with a whole bunch of screaming women who spoke a totally different language. And when they spoke that language, screaming was the way that they did it. So, and you had to wait in line for everything. And there wasn't no telling what you would come across. And so when I say I found joy in the most depressing place and I found peace in the middle of chaos, it's only because God met me there. But I was a willing vessel to receive that. My heart, which was my kids, was placed in the home of someone who I barely knew. It was a family member, and I was led to put them there, but I didn't know her. It was my husband's aunt or my husband's sister. So my kids were my heart. So my heart, and I didn't get to see them. So I'd had my kids up till 2 straight years, and then they were snatched away from me. So I was broken. I was broken because I didn't have my kids. And so God used that. And that verse that talks about how God is close to the brokenhearted, that is the most truest realization that God has shown me. He is close to those that are brokenhearted. And if you seek after him, he will dig closer to you.
I got a question. I got a question to go back to the book. From the time you all met each other on Facebook, how long did it take for you all to come to get together and complete the book?
It wasn't long because I think it was in March whenever I first started talking to Melanie. And then by October, we had ours written. I think we had to submit it by October. Am I right, Kia?
Yeah, you're right.
Something about October. And then now it's just coming to be printed. The ebook's already out, but the print come next week.
Okay, that's quick because I know people that's stuck right now trying to complete a book and can't complete the book because I tell them I don't think their heart is in it. You know what I mean? You have to have your heart have to be in it. And I think that's the reason why they haven't completed their book yet. And you all seem to have true testimonies and true stories. Therefore, your heart is in it. That's why the book is a complete book, and I'm sure it's going to be a complete success.
The credit got to go to Melanie because Melanie had it. I think Melanie, she been through the process. She put it together. Am I wrong, Kia? I mean, Melanie really had her stuff together too.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I believe, like, I've been trying to write a book. I've been writing. I put it. I put that notebook aside. I write another chapter. I put that to the side. But
Right.
it was something about when Melanie Mason and
Right.
we got together. It was a divine thing.
It really
Like,
was.
like I started writing. I
Right.
was like, wow, I did this in 90 days. I did it in 90
Right.
days when I was trying to write for 2 years.
Right.
And it just like a divine connection, like this meant to be.
I agree.
It's something about alignment. When there's a purpose,
Mm.
a passion in that alignment,
Mhm.
Come on
it's
now.
something about that alignment.
Mhm.
Guess what? I
Melanie-
like when you say alignment, kid. Let me tell you why alignment is. Suzanne, she said she did this. Y'all need to read the book. She said
Yeah.
when I said my bed number was 912, right? That was the area code for where I'm from. This from the book. She saying God made me feel at home. Ring November the 22nd was the day the lady gave her the ring, right? She had got a ring. She said, and then there was 22, it was 22 carats in it, right? And she was charged with 22 counts of felony act, but pled guilty to the 11. But there are 11, so the number is 1122.
Yeah.
And she said,
Wow.
she said there is 1 year, 1 month, 2 weeks, and 2 days in between the birth of my babies. And November 22nd was the due date of the baby that, Suzanne,
Yeah.
the baby, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good, y'all.
Wow.
When I take notations on things, I'm really intrigued.
You got it.
Yeah.
You
Melanie
did.
says, Melanie's doing a lot of talking. I don't know why she ain't on the show, but Melanie
I
says,
asked her to be on the show, Miko. I asked her. She said that she wanted her writers to.
Aw.
to
That
let-
shows you right there how awesome Melanie is.
I'm
Goodness.
telling
but she
you.
says the writing process allows you to release the hurt and the pain. But she also says, because we said that there are 4 authors. Another author is James Hicks. That's where the fellas come in at, y'all. James
Yeah.
was another brother that he wrote alongside them, and we will reach out to James and bring him on and have a boys' night out, if you will. But we're getting ready to draw to the end. We're turning that corner, and ladies, I'm not going to say much more. I'm going to turn it over to Marie, but just make sure as you get ready to close out that you
No, the
speak to
closing.
the hearts of the women that are listening.
The
Marie,
ATR
on you.
Okay, I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
so much, Kia, and also
Whenever
to
you get
Melanie
ready,
for putting
I
this
have to
book
let
together.
everybody
Thank y'all so much. It inspired me. It helped me. Things that you read from somebody else like that lets us know the life we live is not our own. That's my cousin Ebony Cole. And so, Kia, just leave the listeners with something. Go ahead, take it on.
First of all, I want to just thank God. I just want to thank God for using my life. I didn't have to go through all of that in vain, for using my life, for sparing my life in order for me to help somebody else. I want to thank Melanie Mason, all of the authors that came together and told the testimony, our stories. And thank y'all for allowing me to be on this platform. Thank y'all for building up the community. And I want to just leave the listeners with this. Let's see where I'm gonna go with this. Like my mom said, you can't do it alone. No matter what you're going through, pain, loss of a loved one, trying to get out of a situation, you cannot do it alone. I mean, God is the author and finisher of my faith. Like that is my source. And I'm on this team, y'all. That's what it is. I'm on this team. I'm one of his workers. And so I just want to let y'all know, the ones that's hurt and the ones that would need to get out, there is help. If you don't have that relationship with God yet, there is places that you can, churches, reach out to a church, reach out to godly counsel, that counsel that's going to edify you, build you up. Not that counsel say, oh, go do this and that is wrong thing, is the wrong thing. So just reach out. There's help, 12-step programs, there's churches, there's programs all around Savannah that will help you in your situation.
Suzanne, the last remarks. Give the words, and then we're going out.
I always say I should have been dead, diseased, or disfigured, but God saw differently. So his arm is never too short to reach down and pull anyone out of the deepest, darkest
Amen.
trenches. He will always be there for you no matter what you've done. Nothing you've done could ever separate you from his love. You just got to ask. So take
Yes.
that first step, let go of the pride, try to see the truth in the situation, and want better. That
Mm.
wanting for better is the first step. So take it, because there is better waiting on the other side. And thank y'all for having me. I've enjoyed every minute.
Mr. Hall.
AB.
Hey, I enjoyed it all. I missed this show for one thing. For one, I missed this show. Um, this is what this show is all about. People that's been incarcerated and now they transition back into society and coming on talk about the testimonies, talk about the things that they've done since they've been home from being incarcerated. So this is the platform that we all needed. I love what we're doing. I love what Joyce Campbell and Joyce Hall, as well as Marie, has been doing each and every Friday. So yeah, ladies, I love the testimony. I'm definitely going to purchase the book. Um, this is something that ladies need to listen in on, tune in on, tap into. Um, we definitely gonna have to bring this show on as far as a repeat because I got a few ladies that didn't come on the show, didn't view the show. I want them to listen and tune in to the show. So we're gonna have to bring this on as a repeat show. So I thank y'all for coming on again and lovely testimonies, lovely, beautiful
Thank you.
stories.
Mr. Hall. Bernard said after what's his show After Dark? He
America
said
at the
that
Dock,
he
10 o'clock
yes,
tonight.
Mr. Bernard Brown said that we could come on his show, y'all, and help. He's saying help me tonight.
Okay.
That's what he said.
All right. 10
All right,
o'clock.
I'm gonna send y'all the link if y'all want to go on Bernard's show. Anyway, um, that's 10 o'clock tonight. That'll be the last show for tonight. We have 4 shows on Friday. 1 o'clock, Financial Sins. 6 o'clock with this show. No, we got 2 shows left. We got 8 o'clock with It Is What It Is with Jay Jones, and then we got America After Dark at 10 o'clock tonight. New time, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Um, but I want to thank you, ladies, for coming on. This
Thank
is
you.
how we do it. I appreciate the testimony that y'all gave. This is what how we get the information out to other people because the experiences that you all had helps these young girls. I got 2 in here now that are engineering the show. That's why they messed up when it first came on and had the wrong clip on.
Yeah.
But now they over there talking about they fault. But anyway, um, but they need to hear stuff like that and to hear these stories because see, it ain't just about that. There be these kids listening to the music and the mindset and the influences that they have around them today. They mistreat these young women.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't love them. That was powerful what you wrote, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Powerful, and they need to hear that. Everybody that touch you don't love you. You
Right.
know, and
Yeah.
love comes in all different forms, but you got to know whether somebody really genuinely care for you or not. And these girls need to hear this. And I ask everybody to buy this book. But we're gonna AB we the shows all shows are repeated twice. This show will be replayed tomorrow,
Okay,
and probably Sunday or Monday.
okay, cool.
So it plays over and over, and anybody can go on our pages on Facebook or YouTube and watch the show in its entirety again. Also, but I will replay it. Y'all will get notifications if you're friends of ATR. You'll get notification when the show plays again. Just share it with everybody so we can get the message out. This is what we're do here, and we thank AB. We thank Marie. We thank Julius Campbell. So to because without y'all, we couldn't do what we do here and give the information and the resources out that we give out. That's all I
All
can
right, Julius Campbell, do what you do every Friday. With the close out.
be. A bad
I
boy.
love it when I do the look backs. I say I love what that brother, the energy that he gives. Man, close it out for me, man.
Well, I'm thankful for all of you. Marie, you did an awesome job tonight
Thank
having
you.
the ladies' night. Ladies, we love you. And
Thank
for
you.
those of you that have watched tonight, get this word out. Share with other women to let them know they are valuable. God has already placed something on the inside of them, and it is valuable. And we just want to say thank you. We are changing the narrative. These ladies have come home and not returned. These ladies have a platform now where they're able to tell the world that recidivism isn't what it used to be, that we started out wrong, but now we are finishing strong. Thank
Yes.
you, and we'll see you again next Friday. Good night.
Good night.